Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer and I'm here to build a model kit to hang out with all of you. I actually two model kits for real, if we're being honest. I'm working on two model kits tonight. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Site the Emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not currently a subscriber, you can use other people's emotes or just say hi or um, choose to be a lurker. I don't have a command for that in Nightbot. Every once in a while, someone does command night lurker, and I'm like, well, I guess I could put one in. Just said, you know what it would say if you did that? It would just say, cool. Lasberg is here. Dirty is here. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being here. We are what I like to call um, uh, few people. I was trying to think of something clever to say. The few, the proud, the people watching me stream. That's not right. Anyway, there's only a couple of y'all here, and that's fucking fine. That is okay. Welcome. I hope more people come. And if they don't, I hope they have a good night doing something else. But we're hanging out in the intro zone, getting ready for model kit building, because we have the Perfect Strike Freedom, which is a combination of the Perfect Strike and the Strike Freedom model kits. You can see here, part of the Gundam Breaker Battle Log line. We will be finishing that up. There's the tops of the backpack jets needs to get completed. You can see there, peg holes waiting to have something put there. And then we will build the weapons that are also part of this kit. And when that's done, we're going to move on to a kit that we haven't worked on yet. We'll start a new kit, which is the Blazing Gundam. It is again from Gundam Breaker Battle Log. It is a 2010 model kit with with some new parts, parts there. Um, it supposes the idea where the Shining and Gundam had its counterpart, which was the Rising Gundam. What if the God Gundam, or as stated in the US, the Burning Gundam? What if the Burning Gundam had a counterpart, which is the Blazing Gundam? And that's the kind of kit bash shit that I like. Look, I don't mind this kind of kit bash nonsense, which is just taking two strikes and mashing them together. I think that's kind of fun. I think in the battle log is the heavily modded stuff like which I like the heavily modded stuff like the breaker there the Barbatorus, which is like, what about the Barbatos, but it's got four fucking legs. It's a centaur. I like that shit. I enjoy that. Or which also you can have like the what ifs. As I said, the Blazing Gundam is a what if. The Live Lance Heaven, I think, is a fun what if. Like, well, what if there was like the angel component of the Death Scythe? I think that's fun. And then there's the repaints. And now, don't get me wrong, the Crimson that I have back here is fucking gorgeous. That's one of the coolest goofs I've ever owned. Um, but to me, the color repaints are the laziest of the three types. Um, uh, because like it's just like, oh, it's this kit, but like this other thing, it's got like another thing on it, and it's like fine, but it's mostly just that kit that you've been building. Uh, like the Sky Zero is just the Zero. It's just the Wing Zero from Gundam Wing with a different paint job. And I'm like, okay, it's like you could change it up a little bit. Okay. So I'm psyched about this, the Burning Gundam, because the Burning Gundam also presupposes, or sorry, the Blazing Gundam, which is a counterbalance to the God slash Burning Gundam, because um, G Gundam facts, the Devil and God Gundams were not called that in the dub. They were called the Dark Gundam instead of the Devil Gundam, and the Burning Gundam instead of the God Gundam. And it makes sense. And Shining and Burning is like fine. Uh, it works, but it's not as cool as calling it the God Gundam. And now marketing does call it the God Gundam, which actually, in my opinion, if we're really going to extend this out, and we are killing time and letting people be fashionably late for the stream, but we'll get into it. In my personal opinion, if you are doing the Shining slash Rising, sister Gundam or whatever, partner Gundam, then if you do God, you should, and they're calling it the God Gundam now, you should make the Blazing Gundam have some kind of cool name, and it does it. Uh, unless, unless is the Rising the pair with the God, and it was like Rising Shining, like no, it's Rise and Shining, yeah, it's Rise and Shine, and then it should be God and something. So the Blazing Gundam that we're building should have some reference to God. It should be something in there, and it's not. It should be the Holy Spirit. Um, it shouldn't be. I don't know where I was going with that. It's okay. We're currently at 47 out of 50 subscribers. Love to hit 50. Uh, won't stop mentioning it until I do, which is not a threat. It's just a promise. I'm going to keep talking about it until I hit 50 subscribers. So if you'd like to subscribe, you're more than welcome to. Love to have you. If you would like to gift a sub to somebody in the community, that also would be rad, or a stranger, gift a sub to somebody. That would be cool. Again, not necessary, but it would be cool. Um, we'll get to model kit building here because we got to finish this Perfect Strike Freedom. We got to talk about a bunch of. We got stuff to talk about tonight. Not a lot, but some things. I'm going to retweet my tweet. See if I can get, draw in a few more friends. See if we can get a few more people to come. See what the fuck we're doing. Uh, oh wow. I'm going to retweet somebody that decided while I started streaming was the best time to tweet at me about the paint job they did on the HG Nightingale, which is a fantastic looking paint job. And for some reason decided now is the great to do that. Oh yes. Uh, oh, that's very nice. Uh, I'm not gonna play this, but I will retweet it. The So I've talked about this on the stream before. Let's go to the overhead again. I'm not gonna play this sound effect from this recorded cameo, a cameo from Jeff Steitzer. Jeff Steitzer, who I will basically Jeff Steitzer did a cameo where he said trans rights, which rules. Obviously, trans rights rules, and obviously also um, the announcer for the all multiplayer Halo games, every multiplayer Halo game since Halo started, Jeff Steitzer saying saying trans rights. That also is a very cool video. And if you are, let's see, what's gonna go here? So those ones that was there. These are this one here. All right, we got to build the. We are building the tops of this backpack here. So we'll be building that now. We'll just put that there so you can see it in all its glory. So let's build that. I talked about this on Twitter last night that Jeff, who I have not met, but I do know Jeff's daughter because Jeff's daughter was an intern at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, of which I was a employee for many, many years, and she was a box office intern. She worked at the front desk at the theater, and I was a manager on the weekends there for a bit, so she knew me from that. And one day, when I was first starting to get to know her, because she was new, was like, "Hey, you'd appreciate this. My dad is the announcer for Halo," and I was like, "I do appreciate that. Thank you very much for telling me about your dad." It was cool to hear about her dad because I was excited to hear about that shit. All right, so that's D and that's E. Okay. So wait, do we do these two at a time here? I think we do C10 and C12. C10 and C12. Oh, okay. I got it. I know what's going on right now, folks. I was a little confused there for a second. You'll have to forgive me. I figured this out. Took me a second to understand what was being asked of me. Now I know. Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Anyway, yes, it is cool that Caitlin's father, Jeff, said the trans rights in a cameo. Also, the announcer for Halo is on Cameo, if you were interested in that shit. The thing that I did not know until someone tweeted at me. That rules. But that's not why I brought you all here today. um, wouldn't that be weird if that's what I said at every stream? If I was like, hey, welcome to Build With Baer Workshop. My name's Pat Bear. Now, the reason I brought you all here today is, so I might start doing that because I actually really liked that vibe. Because I was going to say what we're going to talk about tonight, but if what if my vibe was for at least some of the stream was just like, this is the part where Pat tells you why he's brought you all here today. I don't know if I'm going to keep that up, but I do like the idea of that. Okay, but for real, let's talk about the annoying thing first, and then we'll get into the fun things, or the more fun things. First, annoying thing. I can now semi-confidently announce that I will not be complaining about yard work for a while because I have concluded the yard work I needed to do for this season. That was getting on a ladder and going around the entire fucking house because there are gutters everywhere in the house. There are a few parts that don't have any gutters, but most of the house has gutters, and those gutters need to be cleaned out because we had some storms come in not too long ago and really goof up the place to the point where a lot of the leaves and the trees blew all over the place and got everywhere, and it was very annoying. And that includes just a ton of bullshit like in our gutters. So I had to get up on a ladder, clean all that stuff out. Took a very long time to do. Where the Carolina room meets our screened-in porch, that area there is just like a different size roofs. There was a lot of stuff just up there, so I had to get a broom out and start sweeping some of it down. My dad was like, "You just get up on the roof," and I was like, "I could do that. I don't want to." So I did the next best thing, which was just reach out and try to clean it as best I could. Okay, so this looks like. How does this look? This? Yeah. Yeah, that goes like that. And this is going to go like this. Okay. So I did that. I got a lot done. I'm very happy to report. I believe I have done talking about lawn bullshit until the middle to end of February when I just do one mow of everything in the front and the back, just kind of get some weird weeds down, and then also to mulch up some whatever leaves didn't fall earlier. And I look forward to being done talking about lawn stuff for the foreseeable future. Fuck yeah. Let's see. Other things I can talk to you about. Monitor update. My replacement monitor came in. If you weren't here for that, me talking about this the other day, so for the longest time, when I upgraded my computer, I went with a dual monitor setup because my graphics card could handle that. My graphics card can handle 3 monitors, 2 through DVI, and 1 through HDMI. And of course, adapters exist, and you can do stuff if you want to. But I wanted to do a dual monitor setup, and I bought another. I basically bought my monitor that I had, which was small, but for my space worked fine, especially at the time. And I bought a second monitor that was a duplicate. And then my original monitor broke on me. I dropped it. I fucked up. It didn't break on me. I broke it. And so I ended up from somebody on Twitter getting a replacement monitor that was the exact same size, 23-inch monitor. And I was like, fuck yeah. I'm going to get another 23-inch monitor. It's going to fit perfectly on my my stand because I have a monitor stand for both of them, so that I can have them raised and on the same, on the same level and all that, and adjust them. And then I can, like, my overhead camera right here is clipped onto one of those stands. My monitor, my other the unit's right there. Webcam is on a mount on the middle pole. This works perfectly. Thanks to the person that sent it to me. Get it, receive it. It's not the same company that made it, of course. and it's bad. It's nice that this person sent me a monitor, but the bezel was wrong. And because my monitor stand doesn't have independent levels, it just has the same. You can't raise one without raising the other. And so it always bothered me. And also that monitor was older and wasn't as bright and, looked different. Like even if they're two good monitors, if they're not the same thing, that they look differently. And I've lived with that for a very long time because it never felt like I was like, well, if both monitors work, it's fine. It's not fine. I wanted a monitor that works. I got a monitor that works. Uh, I've kept a like notification for if this monitor, which I got the second one I got in 2018, if it ever went on sale, I would just buy it, which it did. So now, as of right now, both my monitors, both of these monitors are identical. They're on the same line. The bezel is the same. They're exactly the same. One is shinier because it's new than the other, and the other one like needs a thorough cleaning in like the corners and stuff, which I clean but not like enough. Um, it needs like a thorough cleaning, which it will get. But they're the same. And my third monitor right now is in my closet. You can see it right over there. It's my closet. It's in there. And it is waiting for a future day where I will need a monitor, a backup monitor, or I'll, get rid of it before I move or something. Something will happen with that monitor and it'll be fine. Um, it has been mentioned. Twitter was trying to enable me by telling me that I should do a 3 monitor setup. So when I set up this new one, I took I have an HDMI cable, pulled the HDMI cable out, hooked it up to now my spare monitor, and it worked. It worked right away. Recognized it. Third monitor could work for my setup. My 970, my GTX 970 can handle it. I didn't run intensive games, but I feel like I wouldn't be putting games on that monitor anyway, so I think it would work out fine. But I don't have room for just like a third monitor to throw around. I would have to have a new stand to make that work, which I don't have that. So I would need a new stand, which is on my Amazon wish list. And if you wanted to buy that, sure, you don't have to. Basically, if people really want to enable me in getting a third and using 3 monitors, then they could put their money where their mouth is. But they don't have to. Don't do that if you don't want to. But if you're like, oh, Pat, I don't want to buy model kits, but I do want you to have your third monitor in use, you could buy a stand that would put the third monitor on top. I'd have to figure out a new spot for my webcam. I think I would have to probably lower it down on the pole so it would be like in between my two, or like right above my 2 monitors. And I have to find a new spot for the light, my overhead light. But like I could do that, and then I would have. I mean, I guess I could put this webcam on one of the monitors too. But anyway, I get a third monitor. I have a third monitor if I need a third monitor. I don't need a third monitor, but I have it. And I could use that at any time, and it would be kind of nice, but it's not necessary. All right, we're going to panel line this real quick, and then we're going to throw these things on so that we are body complete on this kit. But we got to panel line it first. But yeah, that's the update on the monitor. I love having monitors that have the same bezel and are the exact same. Again, that has been unnecessarily bothering me for a very long time, and I am glad to finally have that fixed and settled. Holy shit, I'm so psyched about it. Also, this new monitor is bright and it's nice. I was reading manhwa on it just this very afternoon, and it was nice and bright and looked good. Because I always had my better monitor, was always like where my video was, and then my whatever monitor was just like my socials and stuff. But that also was where I read comics. And now it just fucking looks good. I'm psyched about it. I don't know. Nothing super to report on that. I'm just like excited to have it done and settled. I got a pretty good price for on it, which was good because it is sometimes a little expensive because it is a monitor from the year 2018. It's not like it was a super popular model. It's an Asus 2018 like 23-inch monitor. It's not like there were a million of them made, but I managed to find it and I got free shipping, so that was nice. That's always nice. And it came a day before I thought it would, so that's always good when you get that. Uh, because other stuff that's coming in the mail will be bad because a storm is brewing. We got a big storm coming through, which is one of the other reasons why I went and got and did the gutters is because we have a storm coming in and they're just gonna have a lot of stuff falling on those gutters anyway. So I might as well get that done. But yeah, shouldn't affect anything. Shouldn't lose power. I'm not streaming tomorrow anyway, obviously. So not super worried about that, but just my general well-being. Um, let's see what else. Hey, a reminder of a thing I mentioned on Thursday. I'm going to promote this a lot. From February 7th, which is a Monday, through February 11th, which is a Friday, every day that week, I will be adding a stream. These will be hour-long-ish streams starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, running till 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I have decided that is the time I'm doing them. So from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. every day from the 7th through the 11th, you can tune into this very channel for the thrilling episode of Daily Dorf. I will be playing Dorf Romantique every day from Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern, as I experiment with afternoon streaming. Seeing if that's a thing I would like to do, if there is an audience for it, if there is interest for it, if there's people who work at night or don't watch streams. They watch Twitch streams while they work during the day and they don't watch them in the evenings, that might be interested in checking it out, or who the mornings is actually the best time because, my mornings or whatever, or like the idea that 1 p.m. might be incredibly great for them. I am experimenting with that. Its backpack fell right off. And we will see if this works out. I hope it does. I hope everybody can tune in. I think it will be pretty cool. And they'll be archived as always. But yeah, that's a new project coming up. So I hope that people check that out. Because I think that it's cool as hell to try something out and check things out. I've wanted to mix things up. I want to experiment with afternoon streaming without taking away anything from my normal streams. I also like Dorf Romantique, and also part of it is the fact that Daily Dorf sounds fun. It just sounds like a fun thing, and I think that like the idea of doing something with a fun name, a lot of the stuff I do around here starts with the name. Build With Baer Workshop was like, okay, they came to me in the shower and I was like, Build With Baer. Now, what would I do on Build With Baer? Well, I would do model kits because I like doing model kits and I haven't done them in a long time, right? Right? Yes. So Build With Baer, great, doing it. That's my new series. That was pretty easy for me to be like, okay, well, that's just what I'm gonna do. Do You Remembaer, which is my new Wednesday series. I had that name before I knew what it was going to be. I've had the idea separately of can I read something and remember enough of it to talk about it? That's an idea I've had for a while, but I didn't know that that's what the series was going to be. I just knew that Do You Remembaer is a fun name. Um, but yeah, like a lot of these things uh, are just silly things that, silly names that I come up with. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to justify this. Like, I have done the work to come up with it. And what does that mean? We got our first beam weapon part coming out here. We got a beam 2, H2. Our first clear beam, or rosy clear pink here, because this weapon here has a beam component. It's fun. Gonna put that like that. That looks neat. So yeah, like I said, a lot of it comes from like names, backgrounded characters. I mean, the characters I'm playing are not backgrounds. I make a background and then I do characters. But that series, well, yeah, that literally just came from me being like, oh, backgrounded. That's a fun name. I'm changing the background. Probably should have the name. Probably should have had green screen because it was me improvising characters with an image that I found on the internet on a green screen, and I probably should have had something to do with green in there, but I didn't. Whatever. But a lot of my names come with that. Um, a friend of mine in conversation was just like, uh, a friend of mine was like, "Hey Pat, well, if you had an anime club, I would join that." And I'd be like, "You would join Pat Bear's anime club?" And they were like, "Yes." And I was like, "Great. I've been meaning to do a YouTube series about anime. I'm calling it Pat Bear's Anime Club." So that was a friend. Uh, the bear cave I came up with as like the place to interview because dens, there have been dens before for interviewers in wrestling. So I came up with the name Bear Cave. But it's Jason on Twitter, who's a longtime supporter of the nonsense I get up to at PAX's, recommended or suggested the spelling of CAEV, to which I said, "Oh yeah, it's always been spelled like that." Um, Dirty just says, "There you go, Pat. I am now an enabler," which I assume means that Dirty went to my Amazon wish list and bought that stand, so that I'm going to have a. I'm going to look and see if it's on the bottom of my wish list. Is it's it's not on the bottom of my wish list anymore. The bottom of my wish list does not currently have the tri stand where the third monitor is above that. So I guess I'm going to figure out how to make that work when it arrives. Dirty, thank you very much. That is unnecessary, but also rad. And I appreciate you very much for purchasing that nonsense for me. Thank you. I'm going to drink a little water here, actually. I need some water, but thank you very much. I'm gonna have to dig out. I have a better HDMI cable than the one I was using for the test, but I do think that the HDMI cable I have will go from where my PC is to the monitor without it being a problem. I think so. I might have to move around there, uh, but I think that'll work because that's I like to run it through. Sorry, I like to run it through HDMI or through that one. Will have to be HDMI because it'll be the third monitor, and that'll be the I mean, like that will be basically that third monitor will be the OBS monitor, especially when I'm playing games. But that'll just be like dedicated to that OBS and like Audacity. Um, Things where I don't have to look at them constantly, but it's nice to know where they are. Especially with the Stream Deck, it's very helpful to have that. But it also means that like when we're playing like Quiplash or Jackbox games, I don't have to have like Audacity like minimize or OBS minimize behind like stuff. That will be, you are enabler. You are definitely enabling, but that will be very helpful. All right, so we've got our sword here, our beam with sword with a beam blade on it. Oops, put down there. Uh, show it to you that are off there. We're gonna build the other weapon we got to do here. So you can see there it is. Got a little beam on there, little beam energy flying through there. But yes, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Dirty, for that. I will use it well. But yeah, it'll be nice to have like I said, OBS will live up there. Audacity, if I'm doing podcast stuff, will live up there. Um, and then I can have a monitor for other things that I'm using, and then like my YouTube/games monitor. Um, and that'll look fucking pretty great. Also, that'll be, that's like my older monitor, so it is fine that yeah, that'll be fine for that. All right, we got a green weapon here. We got one more sticker to put on. I've been waiting for this sticker. C8, C8. Finally, the last sticker to put on this kit. Waiting to do it, so we'll get C8 on here. Got a lot of extra pieces on this because it is meshing two kits together, so you always get that. Okay, the big thing we want to talk about tonight is recommendations for stuff you can check out at AGDQ. That's Awesome Games Done Quick. If you haven't been watching, there's been a lot of really, really solid, really impressive runs that I have been checking out. Some live, mostly I check out the YouTube. All of the ones I'm going to recommend here are available on their YouTube, so you can check it out there because it's a lot easier sometimes just to watch it on the YouTube. Um, so here are some that I'm recommending. There are a bunch, a run you can check out, but these are the ones that stand out to me in particular. And not all of them are done because the event's still going on, but also they don't always upload all of them consistently. This might need a little bit of liquid cement, which we'll do in a second. Let me get the sticker in. Get the sticker embedded. And then, yeah, we're just going to hit a little liquid cement on this because this does not sit well here. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. This wants to pop out. So we're just going to hit this with a little liquid cement and then shove it in there. With that there. Okay, so first up, is Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I love Castlevania speedruns. This one is no exception. The glitches are the thing with Castlevania and all Metroid, and Metroidvania style runs is the communities are well practiced, the glitches are well known, and all of the runners I've ever seen do any of these games have fully optimized everything. So this one is using cards to unlock abilities or to use abilities, but the glitch that it's known is you can cancel out of the cards you're using and use other cards you don't have yet, which allows you to use abilities you shouldn't have at that time. So you can fundamentally, completely and utterly break the game. And it rules. It's cool as hell. And dope as fuck. So I recommend it. Wait, yeah, okay. Great. We can combine these weapons if we want to, but I'm not going to combine them. I'm just going to put them together here. But yeah, Castlevania Circle of the Moon is a fantastic speed run. Totally recommend it. Another one that I don't think is good, is a good game, but it was a fun speed run to watch, was a race from Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, which is a PlayStation game. Which, fun fact, when that game was made, the card game Duel Monsters was not released yet. So this was based on the anime and the manga, and the rules hadn't been codified in the video or in the tabletop game because the tabletop card game wasn't out yet. So it's wild. Now, I played this for the PlayStation. I played this game. I know this game. I was happy to watch this. They're doing a very special version that's not no category run where they're both playing off the same save and they have to do a bunch of stuff. I have a lot of nostalgia. This is a game that I bought. I specifically bought a Game Shark for the PlayStation 1 so that I could play this pretty buck wild, backwards, nonsense game because it is fun to play. And so I don't know if I recommend people doing it, but I do think that it is fun to check it out. So I would recommend the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories speed run, again available on YouTube, to check that out because it is wild and weird and the game makes no sense, and they're they're speeding through playing it. And the commentary is very good. Commentary is good. And a lot of times when people are doing races, you don't hear from the racers. You just watch them play, and there's people on the quote unquote couch. That's not the case with this one. Both racers are talking a lot, and you can hear them clearly. Now they're not, unfortunately, not synced well, but that's fine because you can still hear them, and that's cool. All right, so we got our beam shield, and you're like, Pat, why are you using the beam shield? And it's because it's a fucking beam shield. So I don't care that he's holding a gun, or it's holding a gun. We're including the beam shield because this thing is ridiculous. We're also gonna include. I can find. Where'd it go? Where is? I guess we might not include that because I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Over here? Yes, here it is. We'll also include, whoops, this wire so that the claw can come out of its hole, because this claw comes out and is a weapon, which is nonsense. It could come out here. So we'll also include that, because that is also nonsense because it's also on this side. But the thing comes out of the shoulder. Can I get this to sit right? Yes. So it comes out like that. And that's nonsense, and I really like that. And then these can turn around to be guns if you need to be guns, but we don't need that right now. And that is the perfect strike. Freedom. And I will take a photo of that in a moment. All these extra, got some extra parts here. Also the side, we don't need those anymore. Also was over there, and deal with that later. And then I will show off by holding this here so you can see it. All of the nonsense of this kit. The sword with the beam blade there. The shoulder piece that flies out as a funnel. The gun and the beam shield. The mismatching of colors, the greens and the light blues that are just nonsense, don't fit with anything else on the kit. This shoulder mounted rocket thing that doesn't fit anywhere and doesn't make any goddamn sense. The big backpack with all of the weapons on it that also doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's so much of this kit that is just nonsense, and I like it. It is a mismatch of things, and I'm a big fan of that. So that is this kit. I'm going to take a couple of photos, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay. Yeah, so that was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, which was good. Now we're going to get over here. I'm going to take a side photo of this. See all this big backpack here. And we'll take a front photo of this. Great. And then we will put this kit aside, and I will deal with it later in more detail. What am I going to say? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Stardew Valley. The Stardew Valley speed run, which was very weird because I didn't know that. Of course, that is a game in the speedrun community. Of course, there are speedrunners that focus on that game, because why wouldn't there be? Let's see if I can remember everything about this. So this was the glitched community center restoration run. So you're restoring the community center is the goal, and it is glitched. It uses glitches to blow up a bunch of stuff and really mess with your inventory. And there's a lot of skipping cutscenes and stuff by moving around, but you're not really skipping them, you're banking them so they all play at once. And they just fundamentally, the first, I think, 5 minutes of the run involves zero planting. Is just a wild ride, and I would be so bold as to say it was fucking fun to watch and a cool race, or not race, a cool run. So I would recommend the Stardew Valley Glitch Community Center Restoration Run. Good commentary, knowledgeable people on that. I would say check it out. If you want to check it out, you should. Let's see what else. So it's D. This is E. So some of these components here are new. These are from 2021 for this kit because we have moved on. Oh, sorry, I actually have to change the photo because we're gonna take perfect out. There it is, the Blazing. Um, yeah, we're working on the Blazing Gundam right now. So I got to take that out there. Right, yeah, we're on the Blazing Gundam. So some of these are from 2021, some of these are from 2010. Mixing it up, mixing and matching and all of that. All right, 1 second. There it is. Okay, so we'll do F here, and then we'll do G here. So some of these are new components, some of these are older components. We have, unfortunately, a ton of stickers because a lot of the older components are from the year 2010. So we are dealing with a 12-year-old kit. So, of course, we do have many stickers, but also because this is a kit that is like doesn't exist and it's a modification of 2 kits. So it's got a little complicated history to it as well. And, of course, we got a couple beams. We got one that's slightly longer than the other, which is weird. This one does have like the fight arms thing, which is weird. It looks like it combines the Blazing and Helios, which is fun. And the Perfect Strike Freedom body. Okay. Eventually, I'll have all of these, and I'll do a thing where I quote unquote create my own, which is just doing what they want. But we're going to build the body of this. This one I do believe has 2 different heads we can choose from, if I remember correctly. Yes, it's got 2 different heads or 2 different options for heads. And I think we're going to do the red one because I do like the red one. Because I there's just not a lot of red in Gundams. There's a lot of red in mobile suits, but not really in a lot of Gundams. So I like that. So I think we're going to do that. We'll do the redhead there. The redhead. Haha. What else we need? Oh, we need to decide colors. So we have red and brown and white and gray, and we'll just leave that. There's a little bit of blue here, and we'll use that. We'll use the black on that, but we'll just leave the color thing that's up there. It works. It continues on. This is a really chill evening. We don't have a lot of chatters tonight, which is fine. We don't have a lot of people watching tonight, which is disappointing, but I'm not mad at you, obviously, because you're here. But in general, I would like it if there were more people watching the stream. I am going to go ahead and you can watch me slowly type on my shitty keyboard here about to start the Blazing. Bye. Come on by. Anyway, the Stardew Valley run was really good. If you didn't watch it, check it out. It's on the YouTube. And what else do I want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about the best run I've seen at G. One of the best runs I've ever seen ever at any Games Done Quick, but certainly my favorite run of this Games Done Quick. Holy shit, this is an incredible run. Please, if you haven't checked it out, please check out on YouTube. It's called Stepmania slash not ITG. It's all one word. NOT capital letters ITG run. It basically most of the run is not ITG. It's a showcase of a bunch of stuff in not ITG, which I'll explain what that is in a moment. And then it's some hard moves within Stepmania. So basically, what is not ITG? Not ITG refers to not in the groove. It is a mod for in the groove. It's similar to how Stepmania is please don't sue us DDR. That it is software to use in your computer for DDR and tries to duplicate DDR. uh, this is the equivalent of that, not ITG, not in the groove, which is another dance thing. But there are similarities and there are Stepmania like things within it, so it is very similar. Um, uh, and I would say cool as hell. This run was a showcase. It was an hour and 50 minutes of this person on a dance pad dancing impossibly difficult uh, dances, and not impossible to do dances. Like because they've been faster, and also they use an ethos which I don't know if I wrote down the ethos name. We're basically like, when you're going in there that the next step is something your opposite foot can get at. You don't have to hop. You can just step through without spinning around, which for streamers or of that or runners is important. Um, the reason why these are impossibly difficult runs to do or songs is that um, they don't play by the rules of line charts. So you might have heard them called note highways if you play like Guitar Hero or Guitar Freaks or Rock Band. Um, the highways of the slowly coming up note or steps, and then the top are like the left, up, down, right. That whole thing can move, and sometimes it moves to the music and pulses to the music. It's all created stuff and like songs that people created, um, but it all has its own completely bizarre, nonsensical, weird rhythms to it. Like um, the they pulse and move around and they spin and they are blocked by there's like things that pop up to block what you're about to see for a little while, and it's kind of like a Kaiser or not Kaiser, whatever they call it. The runs like the Impossible Mario speedrun community, like the people that make like impossible levels. It's like that, but for DDR, and it's fucking incredible. I saw a bit of that when Voidburger linked to it. Kaizo, yes, thank you, Lastbrook. Appreciate that, Lastbrook. Yes, Kaizo is the word I was looking for there. It's similar to Kaizo levels for Mario. Yeah, I didn't watch this live. I watched it today, and again, that's part of me is telling you that it is available on GDC or GDQ's YouTube channel, and it's bonkers. Like they get bigger and smaller and disappear and come back, and that's incredible. And then when he's done with this, oh, also I should say the couch, the three people who are commentating while this guy dances and barely talks because he's fucking busy. Um, the people that are chatting are people that made the levels. They're like, oh yeah, I made this with this person. Oh yeah, I worked on this one. So that's great because you get to see these people who made these things like watch someone do it really well. Um, and when that's done, after an hour and 50 minutes, they take a brief break for this person to breathe slash exist and live. Uh, and when he's done with that, the runner comes back and does a bunch of songs from Stepmania that are similar, that are from the community. Some of which the runner or the couch mates made, but they didn't know what songs he was picking ahead of time. So he's just like, yeah, here's the thing, and it's like a hard level, impossible level someone made, and he made it even harder, and so he's modified their own level to make it even like harder for him to do. And that was a fun thing of them being like, you're doing that one, oh, or oh, you're doing one by this person who couldn't be on the couch, and it's just like, oh, this is rad, and it was like kind of heartwarming and pretty damn lovely. So I recommend that. It's bonkers. The one that people are going gaga for tonight is the Sekiro blindfolded run, which sounds impossible, and I don't understand how that works, but apparently it does. That is the one that people were going cuckoo bananas for. That is not up on YouTube yet, but when it is, I'll watch it because I tend I tend not to watch GDQ unless someone I know is running it live. I usually just watch them later on YouTube while I'm doing other things. Not just because not particular any like big reasons. Mostly it's just I like it to have it on YouTube while I'm doing other things, and also it means I definitely don't see chat, like even accidentally, because uh, the chat is okay, but there's still a huge contingent of people that hate that AGDQ and SGDQ have like people's pronouns after their names, or that they might say them, even if it's written there. They might also say their pronouns, and some people fucking hate that shit, and I hate those people. So it's annoying to see people in chat. It's fun to see people in chat lose their mind. It's not fun to see people in chat be awful. Um, so if I can avoid seeing people be awful in chat, I do. Uh, so that's basically that's that. But yeah, that run was incredibly fun to watch, and I look forward to more. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in there that like I haven't really gone into like the terrible games and looked through all of those. I generally enjoy watching people fundamentally break games that look terrible or weird. So I haven't watched like everything because there's some that I'm like not super interested in. All right, how does this connect? Sorry, this is kind of complicated, and I'm like, this is new parts that I haven't used before. So I'm like, what do you want me to do? It doesn't help that this is sliding out of my goddamn hand. All right, so basically, this is gonna go over this. Why can't I get this to work? What do you want from me? What am I not understanding about this piece and how it connects? This looks like this. You want to connect these back here first, and then the other one second. There. This was really complicated getting this part of the chest on. I don't know why that was so complicated, but it fucking was, and that was weird. And that steps on there. I mean, these are 2021 components connecting with 2010 components that were obviously like remade for this year, but like still, sometimes you're just like working with stuff and it's just like, let's see if this works. I hope it does. And it did. Anyway, let's see. So we can't do both heads. You're picking one or the other. So we're gonna pick the red head, but first let's panel line this before we do the other. Yeah. So that's all of the awesome games done quick that I saw that I wanted to shout out. Hey, if you have seen any, let me know in the comments below. Because I would like to hear from you. We will get into model kit, or sorry, we'll get into the pause for the cause in a bit. I'll go through that really fast because there's not a lot of y'all here tonight, but I'll get to that. Today I shot Monday's new Pat Bear's Anime Club video, which went well. I was happy with that. I recorded. I'll tell you, it was about Hunter x Hunter and how it is in my opinion, the weirdest shonen. Now, you might be saying, Pat, isn't JoJo's Bizarre Adventure the weirdest shonen? It's called Bizarre. And now while JoJo's is atypical in that it has several different protagonists, they are at least in the same family line, and some of them appear in different versions. Hunter x Hunter is different because one, it changes protagonists, which is very weird, and two, even when it doesn't change protagonists, the very vibe of the show changes from arc to arc. It is very traditional, and then it's following along for being traditional, and then it abandons the tournament arc that we're in, which is very weird. It's like it does a tournament arc, but then it's just like, or a battle arc, and it's just like, yeah, we're done here. I want to do another one of those later, but first, let's do this kind of like noir, like kidnapping plot, and where we'll spend a lot of time on the villains, and maybe make some of them sympathetic, but also all of them are way fucking stronger than our heroes. And in fact, our hero is the third character. It's not the main character or the sidekick. It's the third character. We'll focus on him and his shit. in his story. And then it's like, okay, now we're gonna do a isekai card battler. We're gonna play like a card battler in a different world. Is this a video game? Is this real life? We'll do that for a bit. Okay, that's over. Now we're gonna do some like body horror and some sad shit. And hey, did you like characters from the first arc? Well, they're back and now they're dead. Not all of them, but enough of them. Hey, did you like any characters from this last arc that survived this like mad bomber and this plot and like made it out? Not all of them did. It's fucking sorry. Too bad. Um, hey, we introduced a character just so they could die. Um, and we're gonna triple down on the fact that our main character is actually not that nice of a person. Okay, we're done here. Now that's the end of the anime adaptation, and the manga, well, the main character can't be the main character anymore. So now we're gonna follow another character for a while and see their wacky adventures in the world. And we're just gonna do that until the mangaka decides I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go on a long hiatus, which has been 3 years. Also, the mangaka, who I have a lot of respect for, did one of my favorite stories of all time, which is Yu Yu Hakusho. So the idea that, you know, his follow-up to Yu Yu Hakusho, it's very clear that Hunter x Hunter is the follow-up to Yu Yu Hakusho because he makes some very important, there's some parallels, but also makes some very important changes to it. So I made that video and I'm pretty fucking proud of it. I think it's a good exploration of the topic of Hunter x Hunter being a bonkers, weird ass show. So check that out on Monday when it comes out because I worked hard on it. I did research, which I don't always do. I think my next Pat Bear's Anime Club. So here's the thing. I shot a Pat Bear's Anime Club top 10 video. That's shot. That's ready to go. I don't know when that's coming out because that's tied to my top 10 list for a website coming out. And so I don't know when the top 10 video is going to go live because I don't know when the other thing's going to go live. When that goes live, the other goes live. Makes sense, right? It does. So that'll happen. And when that happens, that'll just go out. But right now, in 2 weeks, I'll need a new video. I think I'll have to have a new video ready. And so that video, I think my next Pat Bear's Anime Club, I think at the end of the month. Yes, but I don't know exactly. Here's the thing. I know when it's going up, but I don't know what day it's going up. So I have to plan for the fact that, because I do Pat Bear's Anime Club every other Monday, that on the 31st, I'm going to put up a new Pat Bear's Anime Club. So I still have to plan for my next video because I like to do them every other week. So Pat Bear's Anime Club on January 31st is going to be, I think, me finally doing the research on the history of Korean comics, manhwa, because I've been reading a bunch of them last year into this year, and I am interested in learning more about manhwa because I don't fucking know anything about it. So I want to learn more about it. I want to learn why so many of them are about hunters guilds and not all of them, why there's so many that are about like regressing, why the Murin, the history of that, what that comes from, why there are so many like tropes in these series that are used a lot. I want to research and kind of like figure out what's up. Where do these types of stories come from? Why are they so popular? What's going on? Did you ever finish Solo Leveling now that it is complete? No, Dirty, I have not. I know that Solo Leveling is complete. Here's the thing. I stopped reading right after he finally met his dad. Spoilers. But when his dad showed up, and he got to like talk to when his dad showed up, he got to talk to him, and his mom, who was not there at the time, got to like say something like really cathartic. That's where I stopped reading it. because I just got into other things. Also, I read that book really fast. I read those chapters very fast. So I should go back and like pick up where I left off and like finish solo leveling. Part of it was also because right around the time the author like took a little bit of a break, which is great, and I think is good. So I just kind of got out of it, and then I was like, oh, I haven't gotten back into this yet, have I? So I do wanna finish it up since it's finished. Uh, but that's a good question, Dirty. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I've not caught up in that. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to tell the story of like, hey, Manhwa, what's your fucking deal? What's going on? Why am I? Why are you weekly? Why do you release weekly, and why do you release in color? Why are all manhwa in color? What's the deal with that? What's going on? Is it like a webtoons thing that just got inherited? Like, what's the deal? Like, there's a lot of shit I don't know about manhwa, and I am interested in learning about it. And then I can maybe talk to y'all about that shit. Uh, like, yeah, that's about it. Um, okay, just got to put this headpiece on here. Working on the head here of this kit. What is this? Get in here. Get in there. Get in there. There you go. Get in there. We'll panel line this obviously once we complete it. We'll finish the head and then we'll take a pause for the cause because the pause for the cause is going to be short because there's not a lot of people here tonight. So I'll kind of breeze through that. But let's get the head together. We'll do the pause for the cause. Then we'll continue to work on the head, and then we'll move over to the right arm because we're kind of flying through this kit. This is again a kit from 2010 with some new parts to it. We are low in number but high in quality. Indeed, John. The nice thing is, even when we're like high in number, we're still high in quality, uh, which is very rare. But I have been blessed with a community of folks that watch what I do who are awesome. Uh, and even when we occasionally have somebody come in who is not awesome, like comparatively, like I'm not going to name names because that's rude as shit, right? Like I'm not going to go that way. But like there's a person that has been that like comes in sometimes that like is not my favorite and I'm like, "Why are you here?" But they're still like fucking fine comparatively to like other people's chats. Oop, looks like somebody's sub either ended and they didn't renew it yet. We're down to 46. We lost a sub. I know I'm not the favorite. I can be called out. No, John, definitely not you. Certainly not you. As I said, I'm not going to say who that is because they will come back at some point. But like, yeah, I like most of the time what ends up happening is somebody comes in here that comes in because they looked at the category, right? They don't know me from anything. They just come in, and that's awesome. I think that's great. I love that people are looking for Gunpla streams, and they come in and then they realize, oh, this person will respond to me, and they just start like spewing stuff, and it's fine to like chat. It's fine to like want to engage. I think that's awesome. I'm here for that. But and occasionally they're self-aware enough to be like sorry for like saying all that like whatever, but it's like some of those people just like they just don't they haven't watched streamers who uh interact as much as I do with the chat, so they're not used to that, so they get a chance to like do whatever, and I think that's great. But they don't stick around for too long because eventually they move on to other watch other streamers or whatever. And then there was the person that we had a fundamental disagreement about wealth equality, or inequality specifically, that they stopped supporting me on Patreon, and basically were like, I can't come back here anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Basically, I stand by this, and that obviously, uh, somebody who thinks the wealth inequality. No, no, John. So actually, it was that I am not as aggressively anti-capitalist as they would want me to be, because generally I am not against people I know working within the system in order to get ahead. So specifically, it's the idea that like I don't have anything bad to say about Critical Role earning a lot of money doing something that other people don't make any money doing. In this case, being that they do pretty good on Twitch and their partners and all that stuff doing Critical Role. Now that's different, and we didn't come up with a conversation from me thinking that this animated thing that they're doing is grossly irresponsible from a cultural standpoint and is just uh, theft of culture. That's a separate thing from me thinking that it's not wrong that people are earning a good living or a good amount of money from doing a thing, well. Uh, do I think that people like, do I think we should separate capitalism from art? Of course I fucking do. Do I think we need to burn everyone who's successful down to the ground? I don't think that. Critical Role is like a drop in the bucket of wealth, though. Yes, it's comparative wealth, right? Yeah. Yes, I think and also these are folks that are paying taxes and they have a staff, they have production. Um, uh, they don't have a lot of they have some behind the scenes stuff. I would say you should look up on YouTube Dimension 20 behind the scenes and see how much money and effort drop out the College Humor Productions put into Dimension 20, which is similar but different, um, and how much money and attention and effort goes into making that. And you might say, well, they don't have to do any of that. It's still good. And to which I say, yeah, they don't have to do any of that production values, but they do those production values. And it does maybe put bad expectations on other people for what their quality has to be. Because I've had people be like, I wish there were East Coast, like I've seen this a couple times. I wish there were East Coast studios so that people could do what Critical Role does. And I'm like, they rented that studio space. It's not like it existed for that. They made it for that. There is studio space on the East Coast. You just have to know where to go. There are empty studios with white walls that you could build a set in. The fact that there is a location in LA is not the reason why Critical Role happened, because it didn't start in a studio. I'm like, oh, there is space to rent. If you're in a major city, you can find space. They did it. It's a different thing. But yeah, I mean that was the example that came in. But basically, it was a conflict conversation, and I understand it. And I was like, oh yeah, we're fundamentally we're just never going to agree on that. Uh, and I know that part of the reason why we're never going to agree is because I have friends who went from having no money to having some money because of the opportunities and because they're very lucky, but also opportunity knocked and they did very well in their life. Because, hey, look, in comedy, there are a lot of people who had trust funds and who had parents paying for their way or they inherited whatever and the inheritance that allowed them to do their dreams. But I also know a very good friend of mine who worked at Papa John's for a very long time, and then for many, many years, and then eventually graduated to work at other pizza restaurants. And he worked at a pizzeria Uno for a very long time, basically to support his dream, and almost quit doing comedy when family stuff came up, and he was going to have to get a better job to help support members of his family. And then he got a big TV show. And I remember a mutual friend being pretty weirded out because he was buying this friend who was on television and did well for themselves. Was like, why does he spend so much money on like weird memorabilia from a TV show he likes, like another TV show that he really liked? And I was like, oh, because all his money was going to his family for the last several years, and now he can still do that and then also buy dumb bullshit that you and I buy all the time. It's just our dumb bullshit isn't lost memorabilia, like literally pieces of the plane from Lost, like the plane set from Lost. Like he can buy that dumb shit because he has disposable income now because he never had it before because he had to support himself and members of his extended family. And now he can still do all support them and then also buy dumb bullshit. But their dumb bullshit is on a scale, whereas you might buy the box set of Lost. He's buying a signed script of Lost because he's got scale money. Anybody that isn't actually a millionaire, I wish them luck on capitalist system and trying to make it. Anyone knows an empty block of housing in SF is on my FU list. Yes, and John, it is about that kind of thing, right? It is the idea that, like, hey, if you manage to trick the system, that's one thing. If you are taking advantage of the system, that sucks. But if you manage to like get one over on the system and somehow you are feeding yourself and your family and you are living the dream, quote unquote, like hell yeah, go for it. I love that. But yeah, if you're like, um, you know, exploiting people in order to get there, obviously that's a different story. All right, we have panel lined the head here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit with the eraser. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's different scales. But I'm like, people who have, worked hard. Yes, exploiting the system is good. Exploiting people is bad. Exactly. People that have like exploited the system in a way that is like worked in their favor. I'm just like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Good on you. But people that are taking advantage of that, like, yeah, like I'm not gonna be if you own a house and you, in order to help you pay rent, pay your mortgage, rent out part of your house to somebody. That's, to me, that is totally reasonable, and I like that. If you own several buildings and you are a landlord that owns buildings, you're garbage, and I hate you. But I don't mind people that are just like, we turned our upstairs into an apartment for the kids, and when they moved out, we then rent it out. It's just like, yeah, I lived with somebody. I lived for 14 years, 11 years. I lived 11 years in the same apartment, which was just a house that my landlord, they didn't own any other property. They just rented the upstairs to me and another person. And I was like, this, technically, the letter of the law, that is my landlord. But in reality, that's just Frank and Carol. And I don't mind Frank and Carol. They're not exploiting me. Yes, if I took all the money I had for rent, I could have gotten a down payment on a house, but also nobody's fucking going to give me a mortgage. I have never in my life made enough money to get a mortgage. Never. Someone else would have had to do it, and I would have had to live there, and I would have not been on the house. I would not have been an owner of that property. I'm never going to own property until the day that my parents, if we hit the point where one of my parents or both my parents go, I will inherit this house from them. But if there's just one of them, they'll probably sell this house and move into a retirement, like, housing. And so that's the only way I'll ever own property in my life, is if I inherit this house. But also we'll probably sell it before that comes to that. Housing market here in California is the worst for supply and demand it's been right now. Yep. And Lester says, yeah, I'm not going to own a house until my dad dies, likely. Yeah, like I said. But also this house, at some point, this house will be sold, and I will help sell it. But I don't expect to inherit it. Anyway, let's take a pause for the cause. We're going to do this really brief because, there's not a lot of y'all here. If you're currently a subscriber, hey, let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site emote in the chat. It's just nice to see those emotes. Xandra worked very hard on them, and she's a class act. I keep saying there'll be a new emote. There is no news on that. There has not been a new emote. There will be a new emote at some point. The scythe emote will be available for everyone to use, and there'll be a new tier 2 emote. That's coming. That's not here yet. It will be at some point. What else? I'm just gonna go real quick through these. Dirty bought something off my Amazon wish list. I have an Amazon wish list. You can go there. You take a look at it if you haven't on there. Heavy Arms tier 2 emote. Me, I don't think I'm gonna do another me as a Gundam emote. Although I do like that. But I've got, I've got Lego Pat, and then I've got, or Lego minifig Pat, and then Death Size Pat. Um, so I do think at some point I'll just have another thing that I like as me. Um, uh, but yeah, I got an Amazon wish list. You can check that wish list out. There's a pre-order for the entry grade Kirby. I would love, that's going to be a very easy build, but I still think that's cute, and I love to build that. Some Lego stuff. The price dropped on that Mega Constructs Alien Queen. If you buy something, it'll jump the queue. So take a look, see if there's anything on there that you would like to buy. The prices are all over the place because it fluctuates. I usually keep track. I didn't in this case. And as I said, we've got the Dirty already bought something off my wish list, and I'll shoot a video about it. I'm gonna shoot like a video of like, hey, I bought this, and then I'll shoot a video on my phone of it set up so you can see all my fucking monitors. I guess I'll do that. Um, but yeah, I got my wish list. The Discord, if you're not already in the Discord, if Discord's your thing, you can join that. We'll get back to building soon, but I do like to point out these things. I got the Discord. All of this and more is in the show description for this video. Speaking of videos, if you want to check out Pat Bear's Anime Club, I mentioned I'll have a new one on Monday. This last one was my preview of this new season of anime, and then also a review of last season. Do You Remembaer? My second one of this new video series, and probably already, I mean, the best of the two, maybe my best I'm going to ever do. Exploring the worst traffic violator in the Republic of Ireland and how that is racist, culturally insensitive in that regard. And me talking about that, I read an article and I tried to remember. Ha ha ha. So check that out. We'll start with some manga, then we'll talk about some anime. So let me get into that. But yeah, the condensed version. Support me where you can. Thank you for hanging out. We're gonna keep building this, and I'm gonna drink a little water right now. I am drinking water. That was a good transition. Let's talk about some manga. And by manga, I mean one manhwa that I read. Sorry, let me just get this next thing ready. We'll also talk about some anime in a bit, but let's talk about some. Let's talk about Yigret. Yigret is the story of Yigret was the greatest sage in the world. He is loved by the spirits. He had 4 elemental spirits, which no one has ever had before. Connection with 4 spirits, and they were all very high-ranking spirits that he had done of water, fire, earth, and wind. There's no heart. He's the heart, but there's not a 5th spirit that's heart. But this incredibly powerful ancient sage, like a lot of magic is known for him. He was the greatest sage in the world, and he is presumed dead. And he died 12 years ago. But he just woke up into consciousness inside a weak 12-year-old prince. I should point out at this point, it is a weird thing to say. I will mostly be calling him Yigret throughout this, but the prince's name, he's also called Your Majesty or Your Highness, because he is not yet the crown prince, but he essentially will be. That character's name is Judas, and that's fucking weird. It's weird that this guy's name is Judas. It's just strange every time I look at it. And so I'll say that now, but I'm mostly going to refer to him as Yigret. Basically, Yigret. This kid died, and now, for the last 12 years, most likely, Yigret has been inside of his body and is now in control of it um, because he's now uh, because he's taken over. He doesn't know why. He should have died of old age. He doesn't know why he was reborn. There's a lot of things about this that he is confused about, unsure about, waiting to find out more information. What's going on? Uh, Basically, this kid was the weak. He was, going to be the crown prince. He looks like the emperor. He's, like the wife who, or his mother was beloved by the emperor. She's passed away, and that's not the case because he was always weak, and he was basically sent off to school hoping that he would like get. Also, at a certain point, he just stopped aging. He's just like he stopped aging and he didn't grow anymore. So even though he is 12, he looks younger. Uh, and then he is suddenly different, and people are like, "Hey, why the fuck is what's up? Why is that guy like? Why is he talking to people? He never talked to anyone. Why is he not afraid? Hey, can he commune with the spirits? Because also, here's the thing that should have happened. When he died, the contracts that he made with the spirits should have ended. But those contracts didn't end. And they have been just waiting for him to call for them again because he is loved by the spirits. Even spirits that are not, that he doesn't have a contract with, also think he's pretty neat. And generally, they don't do that with people they aren't interested in making a contract with. So people are like, hey, wait, does he have two spirits? And then later they're like, does he fucking have three spirits? They haven't learned about the fourth spirit yet. But yeah, this dude. So there are people who like didn't know him at all who are now supporting him. He is slowly building like a faction of supporters through hard work. Because here's the thing about our dude is Yingret had all this power and he was loved by spirits and he did all this cool stuff with magic and was beloved. He was also double crossed by people who were looking for power. He was betrayed often. Before he had gotten his powers and people understood what his powers were, he was kicked out of his village and not supported by his family. He died without friends. He died with the spirits that loved him, but without friends, and he ran away from those things. He doesn't want to do that this time. So he's kind of going out of his way to make friends with people and like have personal relationships. And so he's gathering this kind of crew of like the weird thing about this one is there's a tsundere girl and there's also a tsundere guy. There is a guy who's just like, look, I'm just telling you what I heard. I don't that there are people like trying to make trouble for you, but like you do, I don't care, but they're being so obvious about it. And it's like, yeah. You like this kid. You like this kid a lot. So it is weird that two of the like three major supporters are completely like tsundere about it. And then also somewhat aggressive with each other, which I kind of like. And then there's also one thing I do think is weird, and I was pleasantly surprised about this, is there's a guy who's like clearly scheming, and then the prince is basically like, hey, I know you're scheming, man. If you want to support me, you can. But if you just want to support the next emperor, but if like I don't need that. But if you want to support me, like we can talk. And I like that. That was surprising. All right, we finished part of the arm. Now we got to work on some of this like cool shit. We got to put on this cool arm stuff. They got like this thing's got wrist blade, like popping out wrist blade shit, which I like. That's good stuff. So we're gonna build that. These are new components. This is part of the like, hey, this kit is using imagination, which I'm a big fan of. The vibes of this kit, or the style, I should say. Anyway, that is the manhwa that I have been reading. It is pretty okay. It's slow. It's definitely slow. Like 40 chapters in, and we're just starting to get to some shit. But it took a long time. Like we're just starting. So, like I said, 40 something chapters in, we are just starting to deal with the fact that Yigret knows that Judas, the kid that he is taking over the body of, was poisoned by the current empress, the mother of the third prince, who was assumed to eventually become the crown prince. Who, even though this dude was far away and not strong, still this guy's like the empress like definitely tried to have him killed. And we're just getting to like deal with that kind of conflict. Also, I didn't even mention the fact that there's a dude using necromancy and some other magics that we haven't dealt with yet, who knows him and hates our main dude, and now knows that our main dude is like, being reincarnated, and he is fucking pissed about that shit, and he sucks. So we got a villain that knows him, and usually in reincarnation stories, not a lot of people know that you've been reincarnated or taken over the body, like possession of the body. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, it's pretty good. Like I said, I read a lot of it. I'll probably keep reading it. So I don't know if that sounded interesting to you. Check out Yigret. And then we'll move on to talk about some anime. Again, I am no longer doing my like blow by blow. I'm just giving like impressions of these things. I am not doing the full painstaking episode reviews. I am letting you know if I'm continuing to watch stuff or check it out, or if I'm giving up on a series. I'll let you know. So right now, of the three anime I'll be talking about, Slow Loop, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, and How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom Part 2, which is like the continuation of the first season of it. I am the most interested in Slow Loop and How a Realist Hero. How a Realist Hero is still something that I think is very cool, and I'm super into, because I just think that it is a rad story. The Strongest Sage, the manga is good. I mean, I'm still reading. Here's the thing: another chapter of the manga just came out, and I read it, and I really liked it. I think the manga is fun. I think the anime adaptation is bad. Uh, Basically, the first episode should have been like 3 episodes. It was like, hey, here's this dude. He's dead. Now he's reborn, and hey, now he's doing this thing, and here are some characters, and we'll introduce, and it's off to school, and no explanation about most of these things. And oh, hey, there's a demon, and magic is weak, but his magic isn't weak. And here's a very brief and not helpful explanation of Crest. A fundamental element of this story is understanding what the Crests mean and do, but we won't get into that. And then episode 2 is like, hey, he's really strong. Check out how strong he is. And a little bit more of like, he's flirting with one of them. Also, I will say this, they really are emphasizing him like being like liking one of the girls. That shit is not in the manga. He gets over that real quick. So I don't know if that's going to keep in the anime. If that was something that is in the manga, it wasn't in the light novel, maybe. I don't know. But like, I'm like, no. He's just awkward about talking to people because he didn't in his previous life. Um, anyway, the dragon girl hasn't shown up yet, and she's the best character. So when she shows up, I'm going to be pretty psyched. I want to know what her voice actress is and how they have her voice, because I really like her, because she is non-pulsed. She's by a lot of stuff. But I also enjoy her. I enjoy her being like full dragon and then going into her humanoid form, which she normally isn't in, and having to readjust because she can't like move around as in the humanoid form. She's like too strong for it. I don't know. That's some good shit. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's fine. Slow Loop is good. It's a little sadder than I thought it would be. It is. I mean, it is like girls who like, um, who are interested in doing fishing, but also are now stepsisters. So like, yeah, I knew there'd be more to it than just like the fishing stuff, but there's a lot of fishing in it, and it's good. If you liked Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater, I think you'll like this because it's similar. It's girls fishing. and I think it's pretty good. And then How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. I am still very much interested in seeing where this story goes, because we are going to this season pass the manga. We'll get caught up with the manga this season, I'm pretty sure. And then I haven't read the light novels, so I don't know where it goes from there. But I am interested to see. This continued to be very good. Um, his repertoire, his rapport or repertoire, his conversations and back and forth with the sister of the Grand Empire, the Grand Chaos Empire, which sounds bad, is not bad, but sounds bad. Um, his back and forth with her is good. It's like some of the best shit. Um, I look forward to seeing more. And then embarrassing situations that are coming up with some characters and their professions of their feelings. So that's going to be interesting. And that's the anime roundup. I'm going to talk about on Monday. I'm going to talk about my dress up darling. Um, there was a series that I dropped. I've decided to drop, and I can't remember what it was. I'm going to look up Annie chart and see, but I did decide to drop a Saturday show that I was talking about on Monday. So now I'm going to uh, go over here and look up this up. So give me a second to see what Saturday show did I decide to drop. It must not have been. Oh, Miss Curiosito from the Monster Development. I just didn't like it. I started watching episode 2, and I didn't really like it. So I'm dropping that. Um, I don't know anyone that's watching this baseball anime, and I think I want to watch the first episode of the baseball anime because it sounds terrible. It's called something 9. Tribe 9. It's a Monday show. I think I'm gonna watch the first episode and then maybe the second of Tribe 9. My partner loves baseball and anime, so maybe we'll try it. Yeah. Uh, it's baseball, but for it's like gang baseball and futuristic. It's like sci-fi gang baseball, and I don't know. Funimation put out a thing about it, like a brief thing about it, and made me go. I asked, and so far nobody who reads my Twitter or saw it at least has watched it, and I want to know if it's like terrible and like fuck this, or if it's like this is dumb but like very fun to watch, or if it's like this is a waste of everyone's goddamn time. Don't watch this thing. It's awful. Um, like I don't know. I saw a tweet that was the first I heard of it too. Yeah, I mean I saw like press for it like on the list of like upcoming anime. I saw that, but I don't know if anyone I know is checking it out. Like, is it like Skate the Infinity, a show that I didn't like, but I know people liked a lot. I just couldn't. I didn't vibe with it. I don't know. I just never vibed with it. But I know that some people really loved it. It's like if it's Skate the Infinity, then it's good for somebody, just not me. Or if it's like completely ridiculous in a way that's like fun, and maybe I'll. Excuse me. Sorry. Apologize for burping there into the microphone. That's awful thing. Um, but it's like I don't know if it's really good or really bad. Those are like two reasons for me to like check it out. Like it is a this is a another video that I'll be doing at some point for Pat Bear's Anime Club, which is um, wild premises. And it's just I want to explore like manga and manhwa or like and in anime, maybe not wild, maybe like interesting, unusual premises. Because that's things like how far can we take the um like reincarnation thing, right? Like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Well, there's one about being a vending machine. There's a new one that just came out where a pro golfer or like a competitive young golfer died and is now come back as its own putter for, and his sister is going to use it. And like that's a wild premise. That doesn't seem like something I want to like check out, but that is a wild premise. Help! I got reincarnated into two vending machines. Yeah. Um, But then there's also like it's a pretty good series about a guy who gets reincarnated as a sword, and that series is mostly good because the cat girl that ends up becoming to using the sword, Fran, is adorable and great and hardworking and like a good person. And so that series kind of works because of that. So it's like maybe I'll talk about some of those wild premises for like that, but also there might like skate the infinity. Like what if professional wrestling uh, and MMA, but skating. Like what if fighting but skating? 'Cause that, I don't know if that's wild enough, but I kind of want to go through some of those things, like or interesting. Like uh, there's only been one chapter so far, but there is a manga that just came out very recently, and I read the first chapter. Um, that is it's a death game series, and I don't usually go for death game manga. I don't enjoy the death game, the like battle royale style, like survival of the fittest, or the luckiest, or the person who was manipulating the system the best kind of story. I don't really go for that. But what if one of the people that was kidnapped for this thing uh, was a was someone who had been summoned to another world and has returned after that summoning, and for some reason has has their abilities again? Like they should didn't even maybe even try, or it got unlocked because of the situation. But what if an overpowered main character was in a death game, and I'm like, this could be fucking really good, and this might be like the death game for me to watch. It's that kind of thing where I'm like, oh, okay, I could see myself getting interested in this story that I don't know why I would. Um, I don't know. So that might be a YouTube video coming up. We got some time left on the stream. Let's talk about video games. Video games. Are anybody playing any video games they want to talk about? I'm still playing Hearthstone. I think Hearthstone is still like this new expansion has some decks. It has some possibly annoying decks. Like I'm sick to death of Free Shaman because Free Shaman doesn't fucking let you play the fucking video game. At least Pirate Warrior, you can build some decks to beat Pirate Warrior. I do not have a deck right now that I can play that can somehow burn out Free Shaman. It just doesn't. I'm gonna have to build a specific deck for that, which I don't want to do. But I'm playing some decks I really like. I'm playing a Evolve Shaman that I really like, and a dual prismatic lens, like pull like a big paladin, like pull out, cheat out big cards in paladin, because there were some new paladin cards that are great. That is fun for that. And I've been playing those two decks a lot. And then I still have a elemental shaman or mage that just basically you play a bunch of bunch of elements, and then you play a 8 mana card. You can cheat out for 6 that summons an 8/8 for 1/8/8, and then another one for every elemental you played in the last turn, and you just end up with a ridiculous amount of of 8/8s. And it's not a good deck because a lot of people have answers for it, but it is a very fun nonsense deck, and so I do enjoy that one. All right, we're gonna do the hand that can hold weapons because we might want to put one of the weapons from this kit on this. So at the very least, we'll get that ready. So we'll do that because there are different hands we can do. Maybe we'll do the like fist one, like the open palm. No, we won't do the burning fist because the shining fingers, because this kit is the cool kicks. So we got to do the cool kicks. Um, the we literally have a foot to have the shining foot, this clear green foot. So we'll have to do that, and so we'll just do hands that can hold weapons. Dirty says playing Monster Hunter for PC today. Also watched Free Guy and Ghostbusters Afterlife movies. Cool. I can't tell you the last time I watched a full length movie. It's been a while. Flashberg says, been playing a bunch of Vita games, just got into the Katamari game, and the king of all cosmos is especially disturbing in this. He has a very tight fitting spandex and realistic human face. I don't like that to hear that. I can't remember, speaking of movies, I can remember the last movie I saw, which was the Demon Slayer movie. The Demon Slayer movie was the last movie I saw, and it was pretty damn good. All right, what do we need? We need 14. And that can hold weapons in case we want to put weapons on this. Usually do that just because. But we don't need the cool fists because this is a kicking. The Blazing Gundam kicks with its high powerful foot. Nonsensical, but fun. All right, so we'll get that on. And we did a whole arm. We got a lot done on this stream. We're going to start working on the other arm, but we can put that in there. We just double check that we can do that. Arms. I'd like to jump to the part where we connect it all together. Yeah, we can. We can just connect all these things together. Yeah, we'll get to the feet there. Cool. Yeah, we'll move on to the left arm, which is just like the right arm, basically. Finished up the 3 episodes of Peacemaker, and I wasn't expecting a Bang Camaro song to be in the show. That rules. My opinion, also, hey, Lord Crashes, happy to have you here, friend. Welcome. My opinion on Peacemaker is I probably won't watch it because I usually don't watch a lot of DC stuff. But I love, I think John Cena is a good actor, and I like John Cena in things, and I think that's fun. And also, I'm always going to be a fan of things that give Steve Agee work, which includes Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Please give Steve Agee work. Steve Agee is a stand-up comedian and an actor. You may know him from various things. Sarah Silverman program he was on, and a bunch of other things. But he is in that show. It's very violent, and John gets to play a very toxic masculine guy. Yes, Peacemaker is an interesting character in that he is a character that, for the most part, believes himself to be a hero and not a villain, which makes him very dangerous. I mean, his name is Peacemaker. He is just, yeah, he is a good encapsulation of toxic masculinity as a character, and a good exploration of the subject. But the fun fact about Mr. Agee is, yes, he plays a character in, he's got his character, but also on the set of Suicide Squad, when you see King Shark, that is Steve Agee in a, like, wearing like a suit and then like a harness, so you can imagine that they then CGI the shark into, so that he has space relative to the other characters, and it is voiced by Sylvester Stallone, but that's not Sylvester Stallone walking around. That's Steve Agee walking around, and then Steve is also I forget the character, but he's a bureaucrat, that works. Like the dude that was Jar Jar Binks. Yeah. So basically, instead of just having like a pole with like, hey, look here, interact here, there is somebody wearing a thing moving around, and it's easier then to CGI into the scene to make it feel like King Shark is really there. So Steve was on the set and is around, and then also plays a character. And I just want Steve to get work because, like, dude's a good dude. I like that dude. I think I think that it's neat that he's got a weird thing, and has gotten to do some weird stuff, including, like I said, all of this. Obviously, the best voice for King Shark is in the Harley Quinn cartoon, because Ron Funches' King Shark is inspired. His is just so good and so fucking funny. He's so good at it. God damn. If you haven't watched, I highly recommend the there's not a lot of it, but it's very good. The Harley Quinn cartoon, the fact that they're getting to make this version of Batman in it, like this fucking Batman is like, holy shit, this, like, the saddest Batman since Keaton. Like, holy crap. Uh, just the most pathetic version of Batman I think I've ever seen in a legit uh, DC production. It's kind of incredible that they're going that hard on it. But yeah, I think it's totally worth checking out as a thing you probably already know about, recommendation from your friend Pat. Let's clamp up this part of the arm here. I need 6. Right. I need A6. Ooh. Oh, I did. I already clamped that up. Okay. When we did that, all right, great. All right, we're gonna wrap up there. Um, we will continue on this kit in the future. Obviously, we'll be back on Monday. We are gonna raid. That is how we end every stream. So please feel free to come along on this raid. We're gonna go find someone cool. Maybe they're model kit building. Most likely they're just playing a video game. But please come along on this raid because it's nice to go and support some streamers that I think are neat people and they are nice people. So we'll go do that. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a great night. We are uh, go raid. What is Sorter Day Knife Live? What is this? I'm gonna find out what this is. Oh, I don't know what Pat is doing, but we're gonna go raid Pat. Pizza Suplex. He's watching some stuff and reacting to it, and I don't know exactly what he's watching. Right now, it looks like YouTube videos. But anyway, Pat rules, so we're gonna go raid him. So feel free to come along this raid. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Again, I'll be back on Monday with more of the Blazing Gundam. So feel free to come along on this raid. Come back again. I hope you all have a great one. I'll see you on the next Build With Baer Workshop. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.